¿Qué pasó, Benny boy?
What's going on, brother? Big one today, boys. Big one today.
Bro, can you believe week 4 already, dog?
Week four
Week
of the
4? ¿Cómo
NFL.
andamos, Benny?
Yeah, we're good,
Rapidito.
man. We're good. We're coming live from New Braunfels, baby. Ready for Week 4 NFL Sunday. Bills got the Dolphins at home right now at noon, so they'll be kicking off in a little less than an hour. Ready to talk a little bit of fantasy, finalize those lineups, and of course, get those bets out, baby.
Now, well, Dad, we already have a game going on right now. The Falcons and the Jags. What's the score there? Wait, you know the score or no?
It is 20-7. The Jags are lining up here for another field goal, so they're about to go up 23-7. But yeah, they're playing out in London. Calvin Ridley got into the end zone early. That's been about all the action he has. So 11 fantasy points. ETN hasn't done much. Bijan Robinson, really, you've seen him with some highlight plays here. And they're also doing the Toy Story AI, Ron. I don't know if you caught
Dude,
that.
I saw that on our Instagram. Justin shared it. Justin's going to be producing, so he is here. If you want to ask him any questions, he's just in the background today. It's good to have him around, man. Justin is puro college guy, carnal. You know, puro NCAA Justin. Edgar, what's up? Edgar's already in the chat. We actually are going to answer your question, Edgar, on your flex. So let's just get into the games, man. Green Bay and the Lions, that already happened earlier. Lions destroyed them. It really wasn't even close, man, to be honest. Washington at Philadelphia, Baltimore at Cleveland, Atlanta at Jacksonville, which is going on like right as we mentioned. Miami at Buffalo. We'll pause right there real quick, and we'll get into that game. You know, just a couple seconds. What's your quick little take on Miami at Buffalo?
Yeah, I mean, this is a big one. Obviously, the Dolphins came up a little bit short of the record for all-time points scored in a single game last week when they embarrassed Mondo's Broncos. And your boy Russell Wilson. We can't let you off the hook for that one,
Oh,
Ron.
man, I
You
know,
said this
dog.
is going to be prime Seattle
He was
Russ.
gonna cook y que esto y que el otro,
Oh,
nada.
it got ugly.
¿Qué
It
onda,
got
Marky?
ugly. Shout out Marky in the chat. But yeah, today, man, I mean, this is a big one. The Bills defense, number one defense in fantasy football. They've been been playing pretty well. Held the Commanders to 3 points last week. Now you got the hottest offense in the NFL, you know, coming into Buffalo. You love that this game is at home, but this is going to kind of stamp the division, I think, you know, set the tone. If the Bills beat them, it's kind of like, hey, we're still the big dogs around here.
Yeah.
You know, what y'all are doing is cute, but in division, you know, they're tough. Let's not forget, they played Sunday night in primetime against the Patriots, you know, 2 weeks ago, and they only scored 7 points in the second half against that Patriots team. So it was a decently close game. I think that this is going to be a big statement game for the Bills. Obviously, you see me a little biased here with the Bills gear on, but at home, you got to like the Bills and the -2.5 too. So that's a big one today, Ron. I think that's going to be the game on national TV here at noon.
Yeah, man, that's definitely going to be the game of the week. Let's continue on. Pittsburgh at Houston. Our good friend, Coach Wally, is out there at the game. Shout out to Wally and shout out to Claire. Big Steelers fan, so he's wearing his Steelers jersey in Houston. You know, hopefully he stays safe and, you know, he doesn't get jumped or anything like that. So shout out to Wally over there in
that
Houston.
jersey too, cuz wearing the Big Ben jersey in 2023.
Plus, that's how much he loves you, dog. He has that Big Ben, you know. The Rams going into Indianapolis, Minnesota, Carolina, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Denver at Chicago. We had Madden on the show. I don't know if you guys saw that on our Facebook page and on Instagram. He said both teams suck, but he picked the Broncos. So shout out to Madden for coming on the show earlier this week. Cincinnati at Tennessee, Vegas at the Chargers, New England going into Dallas. Dallas coming off that loss against Arizona last week, 12-point favorites. Man, I got to pause there because I'm worried, man. I'm worried that New England's going to come into Dallas and Bill Belichick is going to do what he does, and he's going to take away our best asset. You know, he always takes away the best thing, whether it's your receivers or your running game. He always finds a way to just make the game a lot tougher. And I think coming off that loss, it might be in Dallas's head a little bit. I hope we don't panic, but I think the spread's 6. I'm a little worried, man. So Arizona going into San Francisco, and finally KC at the Jets. I think that's the Sunday night game. The Monday night game isn't on here, or is that the Monday night game, Ben?
No, that's the Sunday night game.
Okay.
That's the Sunday nighter. But Yeah, some interesting stuff in these games. Obviously, Anthony Richardson's returning for the Colts today. I think a lot of people are happy to plug him
Nice.
back into fantasy football lineups. He's been really good in fantasy football. Comes back for the Colts today, and then will the Vikings get their first win today? I think we talked about,
Bro,
whoever lost that game last week between them and the Chargers and was going to move to 0-3 could get pretty dicey in their locker room. The rookie's back for the Panthers today. Bryce Young, the number 1 pick. So no Andy Dalton.
okay.
We'll see if Kirko and Justin Jefferson can go in there and get their first win of the season. But man, if they upset the Vikings, bro, I think shit blows up in the locker room.
Yeah, I think the coach is definitely going to be hot on the fucking hot seat.
Yeah, so that does stand out to me. And then as far as the Patriots and the Cowboys game, it could get ugly, Ron. And an ugly game kind of favors the Patriots. So
Exactly, bro. Exactly. I'm worried. So let's go ahead and move on to the injury report. That's 11-13, 11-14 now. So you have about 45 minutes to keep tinkering with your fantasy lineups. So these are the guys that are out and doubtful. Jimmy G is out. Njoku is out. Watson is out. And then we have the doubtful guys, which is going to be Saquon and Austin Eckler. I think we lost Ben, but we'll get him back on right now. Justin, is everything good on your end?
Yeah, everything's good on my end. We did lose, man. I'll come in for the moment while he's out. Ron, we did see Njoku come into the locker room today wearing a full mask and bodysuit. He got burnt up and a fire in his home. I don't think we're going to see him play today. For sure he's out. And how long does that take? Because, I'm not sure the extent of the burns are, but it's got to be pretty bad. He might be out for some time.
Yeah, man. I hope it's not a serious injury. It sucks to be, to get those off the field injuries. Kind of it happened with the defensive end from the Giants, Pierre Paul. When he blew a firecracker off in his hand, and I think he's missing a couple fingers now. Mark Chapa, what's up, Mark? Derek Carr is playing. Yes, Mark, he is playing. He sustained that injury last week. I don't know if it was his back or something, but Derek Carr is in for the Saints. Thanks, Mark, man. You're always in here. And Marky says team total on the Vikings to lock it in. So this is an injury report, and go ahead and go to the next one, man. And Ben can start us off with this flex of the week.
All right, guys.
Ben, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
You're back,
a little bit of technical difficulties, but I am back. For the flex of the week, this guy was possibly going to be on that injury report, but he just got ruled in about 30 minutes before we went live. Miles Sanders. I think he's going to get some touches this week. I like him as my flex of the week. I know he's going to be in, the question that we're going to answer for Edgar here coming up. He's got some decent options, but for me, Miles Sanders is a guy that maybe you've started once so far this season, but he's not really an every week starter. I think this week against the Minnesota defense that tends to allow, yardage, unless you're Joshua Kelly, who is absolute trash. Miles Sanders is going to be my flex of the week. I think that you could see about 15 fantasy points from him. And from a guy like Miles Sanders, I think you're more than happy with that.
Yeah, he put up 11, 17, and 16 in his first 3 weeks. So Carolina not winning games, but his production is definitely, in the double digits. Shout out to Emilio, man. He says that Zeke is slated for more snaps versus the Cowboys. We didn't even mention that, Ben. It's a comeback
game.
Home.
Yeah.
Revenge game, man. Yeah. And I think that rumors, right? But that they're gonna have some like video up for him and stuff and all that. So it'd be interesting to see. But Emilio, thanks for watching, man. Thanks for joining in. And then also like, share, so everybody can find out what's going on in fantasy news. So moving on, Cortland Sutton. This is my guy. I put him up here. He's been doing pretty well the last 3 weeks, 13, 11, and 19 last week in that blowout against the Dolphins. He's had 2 TDs, man, in the last 3 weeks. He had one in week 1. He had one in week 3. And the biggest thing here, Ben, I mean, look at they're playing, bro. The Bears. It's kind of like how you said, take everybody against Arizona. Is it the same situation this year? Like, just take everybody to go off against the Bears?
I mean, so far it's kind of looked that way. That defense is giving it up. Cortland Sutton, I think he got in the end zone twice last week. I like this. The Broncos have kind of been an aired out team, so Russ is putting up those empty stats, right? A lot of yardage, really not translating to any results on the field. But the receivers are going to, in fantasy football, you don't care about the result on the field. You just want those stats. So I think he's a pretty good option. Again, another guy that maybe you haven't put in your starting lineup too often this season, unless you're in a deeper league. But this is a pretty good spot against a Bears team. And you got to think the Broncos want to get right here, right? I mean, they're kind of the joke of the NFL last week, yet to win a game. The Bears haven't won a game either. I can't imagine. I mean, think about it. They have Sean Payton, right? First-year head coach with them, but he has that resume that people, it kind of demands respect. But it makes you think, like, if it was just a rookie head coach, that had just gotten hired, and they go and put up 70 on them like that, they might be out the door the next day, bro. Like, Sean Payton and Russ both, if they lose to Fields and the mess that is the Chicago Bears this year, it's going to be panic.
It's going to get wild.
Hit the red button, partner.
Very similar to the situation you were talking about in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Both teams would go 0-4 with great players like Kirk Cousins and JJ over there in Minnesota. A coach who's supposed to be like, the young mastermind kind of guy. Not the same situation as Sean Payton,
but still. And they've been winning the division, Ron. Like the Vikings have been, they won the division last season. So, yeah, it's a big letdown for them this year. And Kirk Cousins on the final year of his contract also. So, if shit blows up, you got to think, do they shop him around and maybe just completely tank for one of these young QBs that are coming in this season to pair with Jefferson? So, a lot questions going to be answered after today.
Yeah, rumors going around if Aaron Rodgers can't come back, that Kirko could be headed to New York. But let's wrap up the flex of the week with Brandon Ayuk. He was hurt in week 1. No, I'm sorry. He was hurt in week 2, but in week 1, he absolutely went off for 32 points. He's back from injury, and they're playing the Cardinals. I think you definitely need to slide him in here. Yes, Debo is there, Kittle's there, but for some reason, that explosiveness comes from Ayuk, those yards after the catches. Debo's a big physical receiver, bigger than Ayuk. But to me, Ayuk's a little bit more slimy. He can get a lot of yards after the catch. And he's kind of the forgotten guy on the squad who can still put up great production for you. So I think Brandon Ayuk is somebody who you need to definitely have in your lineup as a flex. And we're finally going to get to your question, Edgar, right here. So this is our mailbag all week, guys. Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, send us your questions and we can answer them like we're answering Edgar's here on the show. Ben, I'm going to go ahead and alley it up to you, and you can go ahead and throw it for the oop, man. So Edgar's question was Miles Sanders versus the Vikings, Shane versus Buffalo, and Flowers versus Cleveland. Now, he said there's no Odell, there's no Bateman for the Ravens. And then he said, was Shane or Sean, I don't know however you pronounce his name.
A-Chain.
Was it a fluke last week? A-Chain, was it a fluke last week? Can you expect even half of that production this week? And then finally, Sanders versus Vikings. We talked about him earlier. So, Ben, go ahead and answer Lil Big Bro's question here.
Yeah, and real quick, shout out to Eddie Salazar in the chat. I think he's referring to Brandon Ayuk, saying look for him to ball out. He's a true number one Niners fan here. So a little bit of insight from a Niners fan. What I will say about Ayuk also is Debo was on the injury report with a ribs and hip, I believe. And he is gonna be a go. They are playing the Cardinals, so you got to think if they are blowing them out, Debo might hang up the helmet a little early in this game, and maybe Ayuk stays in there. Although he is coming back from an injury last week, so tricky spot. But with Debo being a little banged up, I like that Ayuk start. He does have that connection with Brock Purdy. Now, to get to Edgar's question, it's tough because the explosive players are the two rookies in Zay Flowers and in A-Chain. But the thing is, they're playing top defenses. I mean, the Cleveland Browns defense has been amazing this season.
Stupid good, bro.
They've been very, very good. They might be the best defense in the AFC. Statistically, fantasy-wise, scoring-wise, the Bills are the number one defense. They are at home. Here comes A-Chain, a rookie, into Buffalo. And you also have Mostert, who's been a fantasy football god through the first 3 weeks based on where you were drafting him in the 9th or 10th round. Yeah. I like the home run hitting ability of both of these guys. I don't like the defenses they're playing. I think that they are on better offenses than the Carolina Panthers, but I think that today the workload is going to be there for Miles Sanders. He was my flex of the week. I mean, normally, Edgar, like if they're playing any other teams here, you know, in the Ravens and the Dolphins, aside from these elite defenses, where, you know, that Dolphins and Bills game is probably still going to be a little high scoring, but Mostert's there to feed as well. And I know what they did last week, but sometimes when you try riding the wave, the next week, you know, they say the game plan changes every week. These coaches game plan week through week. I'm going to go with the safe bet here. I'm going Miles Sanders, you know, to make a long answer short. Worse offense, but I think he's going to have the most opportunity today. So give me Miles Sanders.
Awesome. All right. So that's Ben's answer right there.
What do you think,
Justin?
Ron?
Okay, there it is. There it is, man. No, I want to shout out everybody real quick. Pex in the chat, he has another question. Kincaid or Logan Thomas. Isidro, thank you for watching. And this Ronnie Bell right here that Eddie Salazar is talking about. I took Ronnie Bell first touchdown last week, and it cashed for me huge, bro. I think I was just messing around. I put $5 to win 185. So Eddie Salazar, yes, Ronnie Bell definitely a sleeper, man. He was a good looking kid, and he was a great. The way that he was running the routes, you know, was great. And then he got into the end zone.
I do think that was a product of Ayuk being out as well, though. So
yes,
good long shot, but you got to think Ayuk's going to get those targets this week.
Yes, good point, Ben. So I'm gonna make my answer short. I'm gonna go with Sanders also against the Vikings. Dude, I saw that game last week in Baltimore, and they could just not get anything going offensively, man. They were banged up on the offensive line. They have no running game. They have no receivers. You know, Jackson was just frustrated out there. So I'm not going to count on Flowers to get me points in an offense that's already struggling against the defense who's just absolutely destroying it this year. Shane, I'm going to pause on him a little bit. 1, Buffalo. 2, not that it was a fluke. I think he'll still have good production, but I mean, we've seen guys go from 0 to 0 real quick. So Sanders, I'm going to go with him because the Vikings defense isn't great, and it should be a little bit more of a high-scoring game there. So Sanders, Edgar, is my choice for our fantasy mailbag question. Justin, let's take it to the next slide. It's 11:25, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching. 30 minutes until game time. And then, so this is something that we do every Tuesday. We're going to... Yeah, every Tuesday, the waiver wire is here. So we'll just shout out CJ Stroud, Shane, OG, Mr. Adam Thielen there, and then Mims, who's in that Broncos offense, who has he's more the the 60, 70-yard guy. I think he had 2 catches for like 113 yards, somebody who can take the top off the defense. So I just wanted to shout these guys out real quick because we talked about them earlier in the week. Ben, anybody here, man, that you went and got? Or anybody that you would target?
No, I didn't go and get anybody. The bidding on A-Chain and free agency, and I wasn't at the top of the waiver wire, was pretty big. Patsy in the comment section was saying that he brings
what's up, Patsy?
He provides that punch that the Miami Dolphins run game needs, and I agree. And they drafted him in the second.
There you go.
They drafted him in the second round, so they're pretty high on the kid. They invested in him. I just want to see him do it more than once. You know, if you started him last week, and I don't think that many people did. There was a lot of Mostert starts out there, but you don't want to just go right back to the well, especially in the matchup. So let's see him. He's obviously going to be a big part of the offense, the way they were using him, right? But let's see him make it consistent. I wouldn't necessarily chase last week's huge game based on the opponent that they have this week. So I'm all in on A-Chain as well. I think he's going to be a great pro, but I just don't like the matchup this week. And I want to see him, prove it and be a little more consistent.
Yeah, I like that. And Patsy, thank you for that, man. That was a really good insight there. Jerry Cavazos is watching too. DTR first start may have some short field in Baltimore and a chance to get an easy TD. So, and this is what's cool about the comment section, guys, is that you guys can interact amongst each other, and talk to each other and give each other little pointers and stuff, and that can help your fantasy squad. So this is cool. Thanks everybody for watching again. Go ahead and like and share the video, and then let's go ahead and keep on moving, Justin, because we got about 30 minutes till kickoff, man. What do we got here? So after the waiver wire, best bets. Yeah, we're already nearing the end of the show. I'll go over Roland's real quick. So Roland is on Bills -3, and there has been some line movement because I saw it at 2.5. I saw it at 3. Yep. Yeah, there's 2.5s out there. He's on the Jags -3, which I think is looking
already.
good. No, Ben?
That's final. Yeah.
They cashed already?
23-7, Roland, Jags win. So Roland puts us on the board early.
Roland's already 1-0. Then he has that Browns team -3. I'll go over mine before Ben caps it off. I'm actually on the other side here.
Wow,
I'm
Ron.
going with Josh McDaniels. You know what?
Hey, we're gonna put a money bag on the board one way or another, right?
Yeah. Facts, dog. I was actually gonna go Miami money line, man, but it was plus 130, and I think the spread's minus 120. So I said, nah, I won't risk it. I'll get the points.
Yeah.
So Miami plus 3. Let's not forget, man, the Bills lost to the Jets the week 1. And I think the Bills are very susceptible to getting a little nervous out there on the field. Josh Allen likes to sling it around, but sometimes it goes to the other team. So I'm taking Miami plus 3, and I'm going back to my side piece in the Cincinnati Bengals minus 2. I forgot who they're playing. I know it's on the road. The team isn't very good.
Titans.
The Titans. There we go. So Cincinnati minus 2. So those are my best bets. And these best bets, guys, are brought to you by Gorilla Box. It's a streaming service. If you guys want any more info, go ahead and hit us up. Last night for the Canelo fight, that was something where you would definitely need the Gorilla Box. So Ben, cap us off here, man.
Yeah.
What are your plays?
Just to Roland's not here. He was on the road today, but just to talk about his plays a little bit, I'm with him on the Bills minus 3. Obviously, you can get 2.5 now. The Jags already cashed in that Browns play. With Deshaun Watson being ruled out, obviously he got the worst end of that line, right? Because I haven't gone to look, but you got to think that it's a little closer to the PK side now with DTR making his first start. But the Browns defense is going to keep them in that game. It's a division game. The Ravens haven't looked too good either. They're banged up. So sucks that, he got the worst end of the line based on the Watson news, but that's still in play at minus 3.
I'm looking at it right now, man, and it is plus. They went to plus 2.
Wow, that's a huge 5-point swing, bro.
Yep, the Ravens are now minus 2, and the Browns are plus 2. Over and under is 38.5.
Yeah.
Team total for the Browns 17.5. Team total for the Ravens 20. That's a 5-point swing, man. So, Roland, I hope they still pull it out. For you, so we can cash these best bets.
Yeah, let me get to mine. Let me get to mine.
Sorry.
I got the Bills at the 2.5, so I was able to get the hook. Just waited a little longer, and then the Steelers minus 3. The Steelers minus 3 is something that I thought about taking for Survivor, just because I thought, man, there's not many chances to take the Steelers this season. They do play the Cardinals in Week 13, but who knows if the contest is still going to be running in Week 13, right? So I was like, maybe I could take the Steelers today and steal one with the Steelers. They are on the road. You don't like taking road teams, but when we did our preseason breakdowns and we went on the Steelers season win total over, which is all right, trending right now at 2-1, they're favored today. This is a win we had them getting. So give me the Steelers in the 3. I think, the defense with the Texans missing some linemen, the defense should feast. TJ Watt should have a sack or 2 today. So those are my 2 plays, Bills and Steelers.
All right, man. I like it. I love the plays. Thanks again, man, everybody who's here. Eddie Salazar is in the chat. Also, he was, commenting on here with us. But let's go ahead and wrap it up, man. I know Jerry. I don't know. The Steelers' offense is so bad. They need to bench 9.
I didn't end up going with them. I didn't end up going with the Steelers for the contest. I passed. Remaining 14 in the Survivor. We still have one person with 2 entries in. But for the most part, it's getting down to the nitty gritty. Ron, you still have an entry in here?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you want to give out your pick for today?
Disclose who it is. I took let me see. I believe I took the Chiefs, man.
Okay.
I took the Chiefs against the Jets tonight.
And
it was either the Chiefs against the Jets or what was the other team, bro? Or Philly. Eagles. I don't know. I forgot who Philly's playing, but it was either them 2, man. But I gotta trust the Chiefs going into New York against the backup quarterback situation over there, and I think they're putting it all together. The Chiefs defense is low key super good this year. They just got that defensive end back as well, so that's who I went with. Who'd you go with?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe pick. If right now at the beginning you probably just want to advance. I'm trying to take a shot here. This is another team that I don't feel too comfortable picking. The rest of the year, but I'm going to go with him today. And I swear, bro, I hate this coach. I hate this head coach. I think that he should be fired.
Why did you pick him, man?
Because Jimmy Garoppolo's out, and I think that the Chargers should be able to beat Las Vegas with a backup quarterback.
Damn. So you went with the Chargers
I went
over
with the
Vegas.
Chargers over Vegas for my survivor pick this week. Did something I had the Chiefs locked in all week, and then they rolled out Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take the chance. I'm gonna trust Herbie, my fantasy quarterback. Shout out Herbie. I've been really tough on you, but you're the quarterback right now, so I got to shout him out. But you got to think this is one they got to win here. The Chargers got to beat Vegas, especially without Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. Vegas is trending downwards. Adams has talked about wanting to get out of there already, so this is one that the Chargers got to have.
Yeah, they do, man. I'm looking at the survivor pool, and we have somebody's on Minnesota. I'm not gonna say who. We got Minnesota. We got 2 people on Minnesota. Somebody's actually on Denver, KC, the Chargers. Somebody else joined you, Ben, there with the Chargers. There's only 14 entries. That somebody's on Philadelphia, KC again. So KC is a popular pick this week. Dallas. Somebody took the Cowboys.
Good bounce back spot for the Cowboys too.
So far, you're the only one with the Chargers, and then finally,
I think you said it's me and somebody else.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. And then somebody took San Francisco this week. So
all the big dogs, big dogs.
Everybody's kind of scattered, man. We lost 14 people last week. So Justin, this one's for last week. This one was for another week. I think we're pretty much done, bro.
Yeah, that's it. But shout out to the people who joined us today for the first time. I know Patsy and Eddie's always in here. Eddie Salazar, thanks for joining. Edgar's always in here. But if you all have fantasy questions leading up to the week, hit us up on X, formerly known as Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. You can either DM us. You can just post on our page and just give a fantasy football question. We'll probably get to it on the show. But yeah, we got the college show going on usually on Tuesdays where Justin gives his top 10. So shout out everybody that listened today for the first time. Shout out everybody who's always here. But yeah, man, let's get it.
Yeah, I like it. Real quick before we go, your brother put up another question.
Start Burrow or Dak? Yeah, I would start Burrow. I would go Burrow.
All right. You know what? Let's end on that note. Edgar, sorry we didn't get to your question. But that's it, guys. Week 4, we're done. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Justin, cut it. Cut it, Justin.
Peace.
Peace.